And once again, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of Hollywood Insiders. And I'm your host, John Chad. Hollywood Insiders, your ultimate backstage pad to music and cinema history. Today we are putting the spotlight on the architect of the iconic Philadelphia soul sound, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. From their formation in the 1950s to singing with Gamble and Huff, legendary Philadelphia International label in 1972. The group transformed the landscape of R&B. We break down the magic behind the multiple millions selling masterpiece, If You Don't Know Me By Now, The Love I Lost, and the social conscience anthem, Wake Up Everybody. That's a good one. We also pull back the curtains on their internal friction, power struggle, and eventually breakdown that occurred when powerhouse drummer turned vocalist, and you all know who I'm talking about, Teddy P. Teddy Pendergrass stepped into the lead spotlight, altering the group's trajectory forever. In this episode, the origin story of the Philly sounds, how Teddy Pendergrass went from the drum kit to the front stage, the contract and name dispute, and ultimately split the group apart. Their enduring legacy, Hall of Fame induction, and massive influence of modern hip-hop sampling. So if you love deep dives into music history, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss out on a spotlight such as this one. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were one of the most successful and influential groups of the 1970s Philadelphia soul era. But their story is defined by bitter struggles over spotlight, money, and control. Under the guidance of legendary producer Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, the group scored massive crossover hits on the Philadelphia International Records label. However, the tension between the group's founder and his breakout superstar ultimately pulled them apart. The early years of struggle, 1950s, 1960s. The group was founded in Philadelphia during the mid-1950s, originally performing under the name the Charlemagne or Colormains, like the Colormains or Colormagna, might be the Colormagna. The Colormagnets, driven by the vision of self-taught pianist and organizer Harold Melvin, they quickly rebranded as the Blue Notes. For nearly 2 decades, the group was a revolving door of musicians struggling to break out. They scored only minor original rhythms and blues hits, such as My Hero in 1960. Despite the lack of mainstream success, Melvin remained a strict, uncompromising manager who kept the band alive through relentless touring. Teddy Pendergrass entered Teddy P and mega stardom 1970/1975. In 1970, Harold Melvin hired a young, charismatic former drummer of the Cadillac named Theodore Teddy Pendergrass to play drums for the Blue Notes. When the group's lead singer John Atkins left shortly after, Melvin noticed Pendergrass' raw vocal talent and moved him to the front microphone. The single decision completely altered their trajectory. The PIR deal. In 1972, the group signed with Gamble and Huff powerhouse label, Philadelphia International Records, PI, they're known for. The Sonic Magic, Pendergrass, rough, deeply soul and hyper masculine baritone vocals, should I say, perfectly offset the lost elegant orchestra string alignment engineered by the PIR production team. The group instantly achieved global stardom, releasing a string of gold albums and timeless hits, including If You Don't Know Me By Now, which came out in 1972. The Love I Lost, 1973, and Wake Up, Arab, 1975. Internal friction and the mattress money conflict. As the group reached its peak, several internal resentment began to boil because the band was named Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. The casual public assumed Harold Melvin was the stunning lead voice on the radio. In reality, Melvin sang background vocals and handled businesses, while Teddy Pendergrass was the unquestioned superstar attraction driving their success. To satisfy his rising lead singer, Melvin officially changed the group billing to Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, featuring Teddy Pendergrass in 1975. However, the core issue was financial. The pay gap. Despite selling millions of records and touring, bands members were kept on a relatively low, rigid weekly salary, controlled strictly by Melvin. The breaking point. According to music history accounts and Pendergrass' own recollections, Teddy grew deeply suspicious of how Melvin managed their financial returns. Tensions boiled following an incident where band members discovered stacks of cash hidden under Melvin's mattress while they were personally struggling to pay basic expenses on the road. The splinter and enduring legacies, fluctuated by the financial imbalance and craving creative autonomy, Teddy Pendergrass officially quit the group in 1976 to pursue a solo career. Teddy's solo rise. Pendergrass instantly became a massive international solo star, releasing historic consecutive multiple platinum albums as a premier R&B sex symbol until a tragic 1982 car accident left him paralyzed from the chest down. Harold continued the journey, having Harold Melvin quickly replaced Pendergrass with a new lead vocalist, David Ebo. While they achieved a few minor hits, the group was never able to recapture the mainstream chart popping dominance they experienced during the Pendergrass era. However, Melvin suffered a stroke and passed away in 1997 at the age of 57. Today, the legendary Philly soul that color they constructed continues to influence the music landscape, heavily sampled by generations of hip-hop and modern R&B artists. Harold Melvin and the Blue Note and Teddy Pendergrass achieved historic milestone, shattering records and profoundly influencing the evolution of modern R&B, disco, and hip-hop. The group's commercial chart dominance 1972/1976. While active for decades, the group's golden era with Philadelphia International Records top choice, massive crossover commercial success on the Billboard charts. If you don't know me by now, 1972, the definite breakout ballad reached #1 on the Billboard R&B single chart and peaked at #3 for the mainstream Billboard Hot 100s. The Love I Lost, 1973, widely recognized as one of the first true protos disco tracks, driven by Earl Young's intense hi-hat drumming and Pendergrass's warring vocals. It hit #1 on R&B charts and established a brand new blueprint for up-tempo dance music. Bad Luck, 1975, broke records by holding the #1 spot on the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart for 11 consecutive weeks, a massive feat during the growing era of disco. Album success. Their 1973 album Black and Blue peaked at #27 on the Billboard's 200. Their commercial momentum peaked with To Be True 1975 and Wake Up Everybody 1975, both which comfortably topped the Billboard R&B albums charts. Teddy Pendergrass, the solo record breaker. When Teddy Pendergrass walked away from the group in 1976, he launched a solo career that made him an unparalleled global superstar and cultural phenomenon. The 5-platinum landmark. Teddy Pendergrass made music history by becoming the first African-American male solo artist to achieve 5 consecutive multiple platinum albums between 1977 and 1981. Every single solo LP he released passed 1 million units sold. Teddy Pendergrass, 1977, #17 on the Billboard 200, featuring massive dance hits. I Don't Love You Anymore. Life Is a Song Worth Singing, 1978, #11 on the Billboard 200, driven by the classic selling #1 R&B ballad, Close the Door. I bet a many of you my age or younger, and some of you are older too, you definitely remember that one. Pendergrass, highest charting solo album, peaking at #5 on the Billboard 200 and remaining #1 on the R&B chart for 8 weeks. TP, #14 on the Billboard 200 of the timeless slow jam Love, TKO. It's Time for Love, 1981, #19 on the Billboard's 200, solidifying his historic 5-album run. For the ladies only phenomenon became the undisputed sex symbol of the late 70s music. He pioneered for ladies only concerts where venues completely barred men from buying tickets. Massive female audiences sold out major arenas globally, famously throwing teddy bears, intimate pairs, and phone numbers onto the stage. Oh, I remember that so vividly. Highly seductive performance style laid the foundational live tour blueprint for future R&B acts like Jodeci, Usher, and Trey Songz. And doing legacy and modern samples, the sonic of the group and Teddy's solo work continues to influence modern culture through massive hip-hop and sampling. To be honest with you, I really didn't mean just to get in on so deeply. I wanted to do Teddy by himself, separate from in the Blue Notes. But I guess I could still do that because Teddy became such a superstar and such a vocalist. Clearly, you'll need a whole new video about Teddy all by himself. Original songs, artist group, modern hip hop sample and interpolations. If you don't know me by now, how Melvin and the Blue Notes Simply Red covered it in 1989, turning it into a global #1 Billboard Hot 100 that won a Grammy. Wake Up Everybody, Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes, covered by John Legend and the Roots in 2010, also heavily sampled by Commons and Dead Prayers. And If I Had, Teddy Pendergrass solo sampled by Kanye for his breakout solo smash hit Drew Wild 2003. The Door, Teddy Pendergrass solo sampled by Big Daddy Kane, Pimpin' Easy. Reference despite earning 6 career Grammy nominations, Pendergrass never an individual competitor. They often debated by music historians, considered him in a number of commercial dominance. Both the group and Pendergrass remain cemented on the Philadelphia Music Alliance Wall of Fame. And so there you have it. That's going to end this episode of Hollywood Insiders. Again, I'm your host, John Shaft. I can't go on even further, especially when it comes to Teddy P. But like I say, Teddy P has become such a phenomenon back in the day, even on up to now, for his music and work is transcended through generations, meaning that his music never dies. And so obviously I need a whole video just on Teddy by himself. So I'll stop here and maybe later on do a complete look back on the times and life of Teddy Pendergrass and his music. But once again, we thank you for rocking with us and tuning in to each and every episode. And as you can see, I really enjoy these look backs when it comes to music history and also cinema theaters. The only thing about cinema theaters is a little bit more hard to do, simply because you have to deal with the copyright material and all that kind of stuff. Even when you think you got it licked, they still come up with something to keep you from using their material. But it is what it is. But once again, we thank you for rocking with us and tuning in to each and every episode that we put out. Again, I'm your host, John Shaft. And we ask if you would to support the channel simply by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you would know when we are doing a upload. That's it for now, and we'll see you in the next video.